Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That's very well said by Henry Ford, and that applies to every aspect of our lives. Every action, every reaction, every thought, every micro thought, and every back-end thought that we have. To understand what consciousness, the spirit of new business is, let's open up in our own right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us here today. I am Aditya Taneja, a level 7.12 initiator of the Akasha Healing System, and I'm extremely excited to be your host for the day. I welcome you all to the very first Akasha Coaching Alliance podcast. The ACA podcast is a project for global awakening to help people during the global shift that we as a collective are undergoing right now. Akasha system is a unique path to personal ascension, empowerment, and spiritual development created by the honored master of spiritual and personal development, Jack McCarney, who is the founder and president of ACA. The purpose of ACA is to support people and all of humanity to raise their consciousness. We have with us today Mr. Indra B. Guru. He is a leadership consciousness coach, trainer, and consultant ICTA, professional master trainer of neuro-linguistic programming, full certified trainer of the Akasha Healing System, certified firewalk instructor, and outdoor team building facilitator from UK, certified OI practitioner from USA, certified consultant of Correct Value Center from USA, practitioner of sports culture psychology from Korea, and psychology and brain coach at Nepal Olympic Committee. Along with this long list of credentials and accreditations, Indra sir has been a mentor and a coach for me personally. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Aditya. What a wonderful evening. And those who are listening to us, Aditya, is a great joy to see today and to speak on this podcast, the very podcast for Akasa Coaching Alliance. I would like to thank you, Mr. Jack McCarney, who has been our mentor and a guide on this journey of our spirituality and at the same time, our personal development. Aditya, how is the climate out there in India? I'm sure it's doing good.
So it's getting colder. It's getting colder now.
Wonderful,
Like
wonderful.
like in Ahmedabad, it is getting colder now.
And you can see out in Kathmandu, Nepal, it's quite cold. It's almost
Yes, sir.
1 degree. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, those who are watching us on this YouTube. We could not go live today. We are so sorry. However, we are putting up this recording podcast, and hopefully in the future we'll also come live on YouTube. As Aditya said, that today we are going to talk a little bit about consciousness. Yes, you heard me right. Consciousness, the spirit of the new business. We have been training and learning for last a couple decades over consciousness and personal development, as Aditya said. However, the time has come for the consciousness uh, to be exhibited, to be manifested into what we do in everyday life. When you say consciousness, for some people, it seems to be very minute and very, what do you call it, very smaller part of our self. However, the consciousness is also growing day by day, and we can really face up with the consciousness in these modern days. So when you say consciousness, I have come across with a uh, beautiful definition about consciousness. But before that, there are some words that we play around: consciousness, conscious, awareness, conscience. So these are the few words that we get little mixed up. So first of all, I would like to make you a little clarity about these words. When we say conscious, conscious means being aware. And when we say aware, aware means knowing yourself and the surrounding around yourself. That's being aware. So when we say conscious, aware, and then there is another word that play around, that is conscience. Conscience means something that you feel or you value it morally right or wrong. That's a conscience that is deep inside you. Now, what is consciousness? It's very interesting. When you say consciousness is an awareness or a sense of one's actions or intention that you hold within yourself. And please don't get mixed up with your belief. Belief are your assumption that you feel or you think that it is true to yourself. So I have come across a beautiful definition by Richard Barrett, who is also one of my mentor. He says, consciousness is an awareness with a purpose. Let me repeat. Consciousness is an awareness with a purpose. So we all have awareness, but how do we collect it, make us force and direct towards something that is valuable, something that is purposeful, something that is meaningful? Then your whole awareness put together into a direction, that's a consciousness. I wonder, have you ever thought about the consciousness that you hold? Only yesterday evening, when I was preparing this, I come across a very popular neuroscientist called Dr. Joe. I was always thinking that there is only three mind. That's a conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the higher mind. Let me repeat: conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the higher mind. But it blew me my mind when I come across that all our energy centers, those who know about the energy centers, or we can say the center of our consciousness, we have at least in our body 7 energy centers, and each energy center has its own consciousness, and amazingly, it has its own mind. Oh my God. Energy center 1, which is the lowest for survival, it has its own mind. Are you operating from that energy center 1 mind? Or are you operating your life from energy center 2, which is pleasure and joy? Are you operating from the third center, which is about your ego, your position, and your positions? I don't know what mind are you operating from, and that's where the consciousness come from. And the fourth energy center, that is our heart. Are you operating from the heart mind, or are you operating from your fifth chakra center, or we call it energy center? Are you operating from here, or are you operating from your sixth energy center? It has its own mind. And the seventh center, where are you operating from? This is the time to check, because there is a lot of shift, there is a lot of evolvement of the energies and the consciousness. As the energy rise and fall, our consciousness also rise and fall. So we have to be more conscious. We have to collect the energy of our awareness and start raising our awareness and our consciousness to higher energy centers, so that each energy center operates from this mind of that center. Isn't it amazing? Are you still with me? Yes. Okay. So when you say this consciousness, how do we put it into the business or in our daily life? That is something interesting. That's what I'm going to share with you. Dr. Deepak Chopra, which is also one of my offline mentor that I follow him, he has recently come about how to power your life and your business through the consciousness. By now, I'm sure you're ready to understand what is consciousness and how do we power it into our life, daily life, and our business. Because why we choose business at this crisis time? Because most of the people, they are really concerned and worried about the business, the way they make their living. I would say business means the way they make their living. So when there is a threat about our living, that is a survival issues. So that means suddenly we fall back into our survival center, the energy center 1, and our survival mind start working, means the consciousness start flowing from our survival mind. Now it's a time, how can we really be conscious and move our consciousness, move our awareness from survival to the higher and the higher dimension. And we also operate our business and our life from that higher dimension. So, as per Deepak Chopra, Dr. Deepak Chopra, I'm going to quote you uh, five lessons that I have come across. Okay, how can you power your life and your business? Number one is build a legacy, not a business. Build a legacy, not a business. So those who are already into entrepreneurship, those who are already into business, or those startup who are planning to start the business, they should always have a thought in their mind. They should have their awareness raised so high that they are not building the business anymore. They are building a legacy. They are building something that lasts even beyond our life. So that's where we start, number one. Number two, challenge your beliefs and the reality, your business model. You should challenge the business model that you are following. Is it going to work for ever, or it is only for 3 years or 5 years? That's what we need to bring into our awareness. So challenge your belief. It is said that it is a time to make your unconscious conscious. Let me repeat. It is a time to make your unconscious conscious, because we are operating our life from a very unconscious belief that has been programmed into our mind, or we are operating our business thinking that we know almost everything about business, but they are all our unconscious business model. So now it's a time to be more conscious and choose and challenge your belief that how you want to do your business. And number three, have a vision you are passionate about. This is very important to the startup. And even those who are already into the business, they need to shift their vision, they need to shift their passion. They really have to check. It's a hard checkpoint during this crisis, that is it your passionate business? Is it something that you are so to say that you are expressing your talent through your business? That is very important. Some people do the business for the sake of doing business, but this is my business. The teaching and training, coaching is my business, because here I feel that I am expressing my talent and making a difference in the life of the people. So that's what we call it. You need to find your vision that you are passionate about. So check, hard reality check. Is it your passion that you are following right now as a business? If not, you need to shift towards that is passionate about. And the number four is, don't build business, build personal connection. This is very important. Don't build business, build personal connection. Like I and Aditya, okay, I and his mom, okay, Saran Teneja, or I and Jack McCarney. We are not building the business, but we are building personal connection. When we connect each other, we become more empowered. We become even more better person, better human being, ready to serve the nation, ready to serve the humanity. So that's what is your consciousness getting higher and higher into dimension. So remember, don't build business, build personal connection. Are you ready for that? Don't sacrifice for something small. Don't settle for something small as long as you can connect, better relationship. And relationship is the key. One more time. Relationship is the key. Never lose a relationship for the sake of business. So a higher conscious being, they are more connected. Not only with the human being, they are connected with the planet, with the environment, even with the universe. Are you? So check it out. And number five, step up and be a conscious leader. See why consciousness is important, why awareness and being conscious is more important in this time of crisis, or in this time of challenging hour, is simply because when you step up, when you rise yourself higher, okay, and become more conscious as a leader of your house or your business, you lead a conscious business. That's where it comes from. So I hope these 5 steps will help you how to be more conscious and lead a conscious business. Yes, Aditya? How do you
Yes,
find
sir.
so far? Interesting?
So lovely, lovely, very interesting, sir. So it could also be, can we also say that a conscious business would be an extension of a conscious human being? Like
Very true. Very true. Yes,
If
yes.
a conscious
Exactly
business
right.
would have a conscious owner, and someone who's not that conscious would have a not so conscious business.
Yeah, yeah, very true. That's why we need to raise our consciousness. As you said, conscious business is an extension of a conscious being. Wow, what a lovely Aditya, you got me right. So that's the message that we want to send it across, to the whole nation, to the whole world, whoever watching, either it's a good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, or maybe good night time for some people, but wake up. Yes,
Right.
true. Yes, Aditya, very true. You
Mhm.
got me right. Well, let me put it something more on this and more
Sure,
light
sir.
on this conscious business here. So when I went to United States 2 years back, then I came across this conscious business and I started loving it. And I am doing more and more research and more of, I'm getting aligned and connected with this conscious business thing, because this is what I see as a future for all the business people, and even as a human being we need to be more conscious. There has been a lot of research, there has been a lot of website like valuescenter.com. You can go there, or you can go for values for humanity. There has been a lot of research measuring, interesting, measuring the values and the level of consciousness of an organization, even of a nation. So you can see how they are ranked as per their level of consciousness. Okay, like in Nepal, we are somewhere in the red zone. Of course, it is not a good sign, but we are in a red zone. Means our consciousness level is rising higher and higher, and we need to go even higher to the white areas,
Mhm.
something bright
Mhm.
areas where our consciousness are really for the community, for the humanity, and for the whole nation. So when I say consciousness, there are businesses that is already taking a flight all around the world. Let me name you a few, and you can have a cross check. Like Body Shop is one of the organization that is highly recommended as, or highly practicing conscious business. Similarly, we have Whole Food. Number two, Whole Food is one of the genetic, organization that is following conscious business. The third one is the Container Store. It's amazing, the container stores, and there is Starbucks. I'm sure we hear about it. If you see their mission, if you see their vision, if you see their higher purpose, if you see their one tagline, it is enough to tell us how the people, how the leader is leading that organization. So therefore, if you are already into the business, or if you're planning to be an entrepreneur, start up a business, you should always check your conscience. You should always the first one is to check your conscience, to check your values. Values means what is important to you. And values is an energetic driver that drives your decisions, that drives your strategy, that drives your life and your business. So therefore, your conscience, does it allow you to do that business? Does it allow to make enough profit? Does it make enough? Does it allow you enough, permission to do what you're doing? So that's your values, and there are many means to measure your values now, and the means to measure your organization values. You can always check it out, valuescenter.com, or Richard Barrett. That's a very well-known organization who is measuring the values, and telling you what is the level of your consciousness and how do you run or execute your business. So this is very interesting. So now finally, Aditya, I'm going to tell you there are four pillars of conscious business. This is very interesting to me, so that people can take home one, two, three,
Yeah.
four, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to give you like four pillars of conscious business, and you can also go across some bookstore where you can study about conscious capitalism. There are so many big books on conscious capitalism. So there are four pillars that I'm going to tell you tonight. Okay, or today morning, I don't know, wherever you are. Okay, the first one is higher purpose, higher purpose, higher purpose,
Mhm.
higher purpose. And number two is all about your conscious culture of the organization And number three is your conscious stakeholders. And number four is conscious leadership. Let me repeat one more time.
mm,
Number one is your higher purpose, conscious higher purpose. Number two is your conscious culture. Number three is your conscious stakeholders. And number four is your conscious leadership. I don't know. Have you ever been thinking about these four pillars of your business or four pillars of your life? I would rather say. Okay. So let me tell you one by one. First of all, when it's a higher purpose, as I told you in the beginning, there are three minds. It's actually we start with three minds, but now I can see and feel and understand there are minds in every center. Now, when we say a higher mind, this is our coach. Higher mind is our coach. It's our soul mind, we also call it. So are you connected with your soul mind? Are you connected with your higher purpose? Now, what is the purpose of doing a business? Is it to make more profit? Is it to make your life more comfortable? Is it to make some changes in your life? Or it is to make a difference in the life of many people? So now you really have to ask, the way you do the business, the product that you produce, or the way you create the strategy, is it only for you? Or is it only for a limited people? Or is it for everybody? How are you going to make the difference? That's the higher purpose. Or we can also say the meaning. You get a meaning of this higher purpose, you know. And someone has said very, very, very interestingly. Let me quote you four. Okay, the first one is when you say, you know, when you say the higher purpose. The first one is very interesting. The first one is the good. You have a purpose for the good. That's beautiful. Okay, for the good reasons. Number two is for the beautiful things. Okay, good, the beautiful one. And beautiful means maybe expressing yourself through the art and and music. That's a beautiful things. And the third one is very interesting when we say the the third one is the heroic. The way you do the business, does it make a heroic contributions to the whole humanity? So that's how we relate our higher purpose and our meaning to doing a business. So what is the purpose of doing a business? You need to identify that. And now the second one is conscious culture of your organization, conscious culture of your partnership. As Aditya said, conscious business is an extension of a conscious being. So are you a conscious being? Are you becoming aware every day? Are you becoming conscious every day? Are you raising your consciousness even higher? That creates a habit, that creates a culture in your family, in your partnership, and in your organization. So here, when you say conscious culture cares the people. There are three P. We say people, planet, and profit. So a conscious culture cares the people in the organization, either it be an employee or the customer or the suppliers. They are being cared, they are being taken care by the organization. Then they also take care of the planet. They do not destroy the planet in the name of doing the business. And then they create the profit for sure. But the question is, very interesting question. We say, what is the intention behind the intention? What is the goal behind the goal? So if I ask you tonight, what is the intention of creating the profit? What do you do? What do you want to do with the profit you create out of your business? It is for the bigger cause. It is for the bigger purpose. Wonderful. Go ahead and make a lot of money. Okay, make a lot of profit. But there should be a reason. There should be a purpose of making profit without hampering, without destroying the planet and the people that you work with. This is called conscious culture. Wow, that's interesting. Then the next one is conscious stakeholders. So when you say stakeholders, first of all, your employees is the first stakeholder. Your customer is your stakeholder. Your suppliers are stakeholders. Your financial advisors or financial peoples are also your stakeholders. And the most important is the planet is your biggest stakeholders. So when we say these stakeholders, they are very conscious now already. You cannot fool your customer anymore. They are intelligent. They are full of information now. They are informed customers. They are informed suppliers. So you need to be more conscious and then reach out to the stakeholders and consider them your partner in the business. And finally, conscious leadership. Wow, that this is something amazing. I always love to share about. So when you say conscious leaders, as Aditya said, the extension of conscious being is in the conscious business, right? Similarly, the consciousness level of the leader determines the consciousness level of the business and the organization. The consciousness level of a business leader determines the level of the consciousness of the business and the organization. So you need to transform, you need to shift your consciousness higher if you really want to raise your business and take it to the next level. Business won't go to the next level by itself. It is you, the leader, the owner, the executives, they need to raise their awareness to the higher level. So Akasa Coaching Alliance helps you to raise your awareness to the higher level from different means by using different tools so that you can do a better job, you can do a better business, you can do a better life for yourself, for your family, and make a difference in the whole world by doing a new kind of business. That's we call it consciousness is becoming, not becoming, I would say consciousness will be one of the best product in the future. Note it down. Consciousness will be one of the best product in the future. If you are not raising your consciousness, if you are not working with your consciousness, you'll be left out. So that's why raise your consciousness by any means. This is the time we call it consciousness is. Are you aware about that? This is from wisdom is we are already entering into a consciousness is. We are into IT is, then wisdom is, now we are already into the consciousness is. So if you want to really match up with new age of consciousness, raise your consciousness, start coaching, learning, teaching consciousness to yourself. How's that, Aditya?
Lovely, sir. So also I would like to ask, like, if a person is conscious, like the higher you vibrate, it's easier for things to flow around you. Like you won't see obstacles around money, you won't see obstacles around people. So it's not just better for the business, it's better for you as a whole. The obstacles and the problems you see in life, if you start vibrating higher, if you start becoming conscious, they'll just start to vanish and disappear or solve themselves.
Wow, what an amazing Aditya. Your level of consciousness is raising day by day. I can see, I can feel, and
Thank you, sir.
I can really connect with your level of consciousness. That's amazing, Aditya. Tonight we had a wonderful conversation. It's a
Yes, sir.
beautiful podcast. I hope this is going to help a lot more people around the world. And we will bring up even more and more podcasts to raise the awareness of the people and help in global awakening. Hope we can do it together. So please, those who
Yes,
are
sir.
watching us, let's request them to subscribe, to like, and to comment so that we are encouraged, we are inspired by your comment so that we can do it even more for you and more people who are in need. So thank you so much. Aditya, anything?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the
And
insight.
until we meet the next
And
time, everybody,
yes,
love
sir.
you all. And Akasa Coaching Alliance, please keep us encouraging, keep us inspiring. So this is Consciousness, the Spirit of New Business with Aditya and Indra Grum from India and Nepal. Thank you so much, Aditya. Good night.
Thank you,
Good
sir. Thank
morning
you.
to everybody. Thank you.